In the last session, we learned about layers and explored the options. Now we are going to talk about the timeline. However, layers and timeline are connected, but for more details, I decided to explain them in a separate videos. We want to import some videos into the After Effects program. As always, I use drag and drop because it's easier. I select all of them, drag them, and drop them into the project area. You can adjust files however you like. I want to enter them in a layers window with no changes. If you pay attention, the size of this one is 640 and 360. And some of them are 1280 and 720. Now I'm creating a new composition with the size of 2080 and 720. Another way for making a composition is to drag this one and drop it into the composition part. We see that the composition is created with the size of our video. If you press Ctrl K, you'll see here that the size is 1280 and 720. We can tune it like this and change this one's name. We're calling it New Comp. Now we put our video in the bottom part. I click on this, press Shift, select them all, and drop them down here. You can change their names if you like. Here, do your changes on layer's name or do the changes over there. I call this 1, the next one 2, and so on. You can see that the name of the layers also changes. If you click on this one, you'll see that the names are like the project section. And with layers name, you have this ability to change layers name just in the composition section. Let's call this one my first video. Going back to source name, you see the names are the same as before. And layers order are also characteristics here, 1 to 7. In the timeline section, you can see it is specified the time of the videos. All my timeline is 37 seconds. It is made as the size of the video I did put in the composition. This can be changed in the composition setting too. If you want to see a bigger timeline, unuse these two options. You see the parts that we don't need right now are temporarily removed. Now our timeline is bigger and we can focus more. This option, as I told you, is for zooming in and zooming out the timeline. Here's the shortcut, plus and negative of the keyboard, but not the numpad. Let me show you here. I mean this one. First, click on the timeline. As you see, it's zooming in. And if you click negative, it's zooming out. In some computers or laptop, here we have the numpad. Plus and negative doesn't work here. In another way, press Alt and scroll the mouse. Now I can see my timeline frame by frame. It's 14 frames. F comes from the frame. Every 30 frames becomes 1 second. If you pay attention to the composition, we selected 30 FPS. So every 30 frames become 1 second. After frame 29, we have 1 or 1 second. With this option that seems like a mountain, we are able to zoom in and zoom out. If you want to go forward or backward in your timeline, use this tool. This way you can switch between seconds when zooming. And when it's not zooming, you'll see all your timelines here. This section also shows the zoom area. You can move it or make changes. The bigger I make it, the smaller our zoom space. Now I shorten it, and my zoom space gets bigger to see the timeline in more detail. Good. Because in motion graphics we work with frames, unlike other editing programs like Premiere and Camtasia, which works with seconds. Sometimes we need to move between frames to check that our motion graphics looks good or needs correction. With this part, the current time indicator or CTI, you can switch between your timeline and see the video in the preview section. For playing video, we have different procedures. The easiest one is to click on the keyboard space. Open the preview section and click on the play tool. You see that the video starts playing. Click again and the video stops playing. With the current time indicator, you can see the path that your video is playing. This next frame tool helps you to move frame by frame. Let me zoom in to show you. I start from the first frame. I click on the next frame and CTI goes on. Frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, and so on. This one goes backward, goes to previous frames. These have shortcuts too, and I prefer them much more. Its shortcuts on the keyboard are page up and page down. If you press page down, goes forward. And if you press page up, goes backward. Here are page up and page down. Forwards, backwards. I prefer another method. I use Control and arrow keys, these two on the keyboard. Press Control and move the CTI between frames. Here I hold Control. With these two, I'm moving CTI forward and backward. I prefer and I use this method always. So handy. If you want to switch between frames, not frame by frame, sometimes you need to see 10 seconds. In this time, press Shift and again use the page up and page down. I was on frame 3, now I'm on frame 13. If I press the page down again, I'm on frame 23. If I press Shift and page up, it makes my timeline 10 frames go backward. Here it goes back. We were on frame 13, now we're on frame 3. Here it shows you the time. I'm holding Shift and press page down. Now we are on 23. And when I press Shift page up, I'm going back to frame 13 and 3. Okay, there's another simple way here. Hold Shift and Control and use these two arrow keys. Holding Control alone helps you move frame by frame, but if you use Shift 2, you can move up to 10 frames. Look, we are on frame 8. Now it's 18. 10 frames goes forward on frame 28. Remember shortcuts. They are so handy and very effective in the process of making your motion graphics. Up here we have two options in the preview section. If I click on the first frame, my timeline comes to the first frame of animation or motion graphic. We are on frame 0 now. And if I click on the last frame, it goes on the last frame, which are 37 seconds and 10 frames. It has shortcuts too. The home key on the keyboard is for the first frame. The end on the keyboard is for the last frame. I'm talking about these two keys. Till now you learned about shortcuts and how you can switch between frames. Well, now I'm going to tell you about the work area. Suppose you made a motion and now you want to repeat some parts of that motion to see if it's worked well or not. With this tool, you can see here, this side is the work area start. I put it on second 5. It means that my animation starts playing from the second 5. And for the end of it, I choose the other side of the arrow and put it on second 15. I want my animation to start playing from second 5 till 15. Now I click on the keyboard space. It starts playing and doesn't last longer than second 15. However, my animation is 37 seconds. It only shows the work area space. You can change the zone and the timeline will play in that area, like this, over and over. It has shortcuts too. Instead of using a mouse or touchpad, as always I prefer shortcuts. Shortcuts are B, shorten of beginning of work area. Here I press B. See? Wherever you put CTI, it will be your work area's start. For example, you want it to be from second 5 till 10. Put CTI and second 10 and press N. N comes after end of work area. So we learned about the work area and shortcuts, B and N. The work area tool has different usage. As I said, you can limit your workspace. I want to choose from frame 10 till here with shortcuts. When I play it, animation shows up in this particular area. Another usage of work area, it's about what will you see in the render. Whatever space you selected for your work area, it will show up on render. For example, I press home, which comes to the first frame. I press B to specify the beginning till the second 6. And I press N to look at the end. When you want to export this composition for making a video file, it's called rendering. So when you adjust your work area, you specify your work area for up to 6 seconds. You will render your animation as an MP4 or video file at this particular time. Remember to always set up your work area as the size of your animation after your work is done. Here I want to choose the area. Press N and it's set. The extra parts are no longer needed. I drag this till the second 25. Either you can press Ctrl K and adjust duration on 25 seconds. Like this. Or I use a work area panel. I locate it on frame 25 and press N. Right click on this area and choose Trim Come to Work Area. By doing this, as you can see, after 25 seconds has cut the rest of the work for me. Now I have the video from the second 1 to 25. With this, we did specify our work area and the size of our composition. If I go to the composition setting from here, you'll see that the duration is on 25 seconds. That was the work area. The green line is called render preview. When you play your video or import a heavy Illustrator work that has too much vector, your system may be slow, and this green line is black. Here, because I played the animation, it's green and saved in my computer cache. But sometimes when you play your animation, it doesn't move smoothly. Moves like this and takes some time to load and to be green. Next time you play the animation, you can see it with real time. Because After Effects, despite other programs like Camtasia and Premiere, is not real time. You can use it for editing complicated videos. After Effects is a frame-based application and working with frames. Absolutely, for motion graphics that we need to pay attention to the details, After Effects is a better choice. So this one depends on the speed of your computer. When you press space and play the video, it may take time to load. And when it becomes green, you can play it again to see your work in real time. If you play it over here and your computer speed is slow, a box will appear telling you that this video is not in real time. Another thing I can tell you here is about layers. Here you see these triangle shapes in the first of the layers. It means these layers start from here. Let me adjust it. I want this to continue for 3 seconds. We can trim these like this. In the last session I told you when there is a layer above another layer, we only see the first layer. If I hide the first layer, you see the second layer. Again, I hide this layer and you see the layer below, and so on. So the order of the layers is very important. Put each one you want in the order you want and then trim them. To trim them, either you can drag them like this, or if you want to trim on the exact time where your CTI is, I hold Shift and drag it. You'll see it attracts it as it gets closer, from left or right, but if I don't use Shift, it won't be accurate. To do the trim clear, press Shift. Now when it comes to the second tree, your next video will show up. I'm hiding this one. The video below is showing up. So you can change your layer size as I told you, and even change the timing place. If you want to be exact about the place, you can again hold Shift and bring it closer. I want it to start from the second tree till the second 6, so I can easily move and trim them. Even from the beginning of the layer, or from the second 2 to 9. After that, the video will change. The layer can be trimmed on both sides, and you can move it between times. I always recommend shortcuts. Here I'm in left and right brackets. If I press the open bracket, the layer will stand in the place I put the time indicator, like this. I choose the second 8 for the end of the video. I press close bracket, and that's it. For trimming them, hold Alt and click on the open bracket. With trimming, you cut the video and divide it into different parts to put different video together. To cut the end part of the video, use Alt and close bracket. You can play with your layers however you like. I want this one to end at the second 2, and that layer starts here. But using CTI may not be exact. You can use a mouse or shortcut. I'm holding Shift. When I approach the CTI, it sticks automatically to the end and begins the layers. Without Shift, there is no adhesion. Another way is shortcuts. I and O. I comes from the input of the layer, and O from the out point. In point means where the layers begins. Out point where the layers ends. If I click on the I, CTI moves. Because we are on the layer 2, the first of this layer is selected. And if I press O, the end of it will show. To go to the first layer, click on it. Press I, comes to the first, press O to go to the end. Either use shortcuts, hold Ctrl with the arrow keys up and down, and switch between layers. Now I'm layer 6, then 5, and so on. Or click on numpad numbers and go to whatever layer you like. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm in this one. I press number 6 and it goes to layer 6. Number 5, layer 5. 7, layer 7. Number 1, layer 1. Like this. You can switch between layers. Control with arrow keys help you to switch between layers or move between frames. When you hold Shift and Control with arrow keys, you can move 10 frames forward or backward, and with up and down keys, you will be able to select layers together. I did select all the layers. The shortcut is Ctrl A. For deselecting all of them, hold Ctrl Shift A or F2. As I told you, timeline and layers are related. You can easily use shortcuts. With Ctrl and arrow keys, I select the first layer and switch to the other layers. To go to the end of the layers, press O. I go to the next layer with Ctrl and down key. Now we want this one to come here. Press this bracket. I want this one to last till the second 5. This has a shortcut too. Hold Alt and Shift, then press J. Go to the time window opens. Here you choose the time you want. For choosing 5 seconds, type 500. Click on OK and CTI goes to the second 5. To go to the second 2, do the exact process and enter 200. To look at the time indicator exactly, I take CTI and with Shift, it will stick to the beginning of the layer. Instead of searching for the second and entering it yourself, use duration. I want to go to the second 5. I enter plus 300, which means add 3 seconds to the second I stand right now. See, it's added 3 seconds to the place time indicator was. If I want to go back, I can't use minus. It doesn't work. First, I have to enter plus, then minus 300. Now it comes to 3 seconds ago. For example, I want to go 5 seconds forward. I enter 500 and it goes ahead. Or to go 5 seconds back, I write plus and minus 500 and it goes backward. You can use this method without a mouse. I like to cut this layer from here. I press Alt and close the bracket. To go to the layers below, I press Ctrl and down key. To start this layer from here, I press Alt and close bracket. I want this layer to last long till 2 seconds next. I press Alt Shift and J and enter plus 200 here. Alt and close bracket for the end. Like this, you are able to use shortcuts and a keyboard without a mouse. If I press 1, comes to layer 1. With I comes to the first, and with O goes to the end. Again in layer 2 with I and O. So the shortcuts can be so handy. To specify my work area, I come near here and hold Shift to stick to the end of the layer, then press N for the end of the work area. I play the video with keyboard space. As you can see, videos are shown in the preview section. In this way, you can adjust the time of the motions. Where should it be? From when to when? This one is till 2, the other from 2 to 5, and 5 to 7. You can look at them wherever you prefer and set their times. Something else that you should know about layers. Let me activate expand option. This section will show up. This one is shy. For example, when you work on a motion that has too many layers, to be more comfortable and more accurate, you can temporarily hide some of the layers. For instance, you're gonna work on these 3 layers. You find other layers too distracting. So instead of deleting them, you can just shy them. When you use this eye tool, cause them to don't show up on the preview section. Still, you can see them in the layer section. But when you use the shy option, it temporarily removes your layers and your timeline seems less confusing. I did shy my layers, but the point is here I must click on this option to be able to remove these layers. See, they don't delete, but you can't see them now. That's what the shy option does. Temporarily removes the layers, so we have much focus on the motion itself and the layers. If you want them back, just unselect the big shy and layers come back. When I remove shine from the layers and select the hide all shine layers option, nothing will happen. But when it's activated and then I shine the layers, they will remove temporarily. And if I disable it again, you can see them again. It's such a useful option and you will need it in your motion graphics. You can change the color to any color you like, as I said before. It is more useful when your animation becomes professional. For instance, you want these three to be green because they are for one motion. This microwave, for example, has made with 3 parts, which I will explain to you in next session. About working with Illustrator and layers it needs. This microwave is made of different things. Here, when I zoom in, it's a button. We have glass, the handle part, the microwave itself, and these details. When we work on the details, we must import each part in After Effects with separate layers from the Illustrator. We animate them in separate layers. And to know which layers are for microwave, I give them the same color. I give the camera blue color. Suppose these layers are for the camera. Now I know that green is for microwave and blue is for camera. This is how you can divide your work. I know it was too much, but let me tell you some other shortcuts here. I'll try to prepare them in a PDF file, what are they and what are they for, so you can use them whenever you need them. For changing the order of the layers, you can click on the layer you want and drag it wherever you want. Or with shortcuts, control and bracket. With open bracket comes down and with close bracket goes up. You have to hold control. Don't forget. So this shortcut is for changing the order of the layers. Maybe you have so many layers, like 100 layers, and you want to drop this layer to the end. This time you use Control Shift with this bracket. Control Shift with open bracket takes it to the last layer, and Control Shift with close bracket bring it to the first layer. Without Shift goes one by one. You can lock your layer with Control L. My first layer is now locked. With Control down, I go to the next layer and lock it with Control L. You can simply lock your layers with shortcuts, but to open the layers, there is no shortcut. You need the mouse. For selecting all the layers, as I said before, use Control A. To make them unselected, use Control Shift A or F2. These shortcuts come in handy when you have a lot of layers and a heavier motion. If you want to select some of the layers, go to the layer you want, press Ctrl Shift with up and down keys. Now you selected the layers you need. To make them unselected, do what I said before, F2. If there's anything left, I will explain in future sessions.